Do you know how many people own assets in their own personal name? Just take a guess. Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Guess what? It's over 30%. And do you know how many people in this country do not have an estate plan? This number is going to shock you. It's almost 70% of people in this country do not have an estate plan. That means that 70% actually do. It's not their plan. They're following the government's plan. And in today's lesson, I'm going to be discussing how to protect and how to continue to perpetuate the topic of baby money soldiers. Hello and welcome. My name is Gino Barbaro of Barbaro 360 and Jake and Gino. And I want to welcome you to this video because this is such an important topic. For me, it's so enjoyable to be talking about money, investing. We came up with the idea of baby money soldiers. If you want to go back to a couple of previous videos that we've done, real quick, you may be saying to yourself, what's a baby money soldier? Great question. A baby money soldier, think of it as any dollar that comes into your life. Now, we're so conditioned to be able to spend money and to be able possibly even to save money and to invest. But I think that a lot of us aren't conditioned or taught to actually protect the money that we've worked so hard to create. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Not only to protect it, but also to perpetuate it, to leave it as a legacy. And that's what asset protection, entity protection, and estate planning is all about. Let's jump in to asset protection because this is something that is really mind-boggling to me. When you first start out, you don't really know too much. I first started out, I remember my first deal that I did. It was our restaurant. I remember buying the restaurant and we bought the business downstairs and there was the apartments upstairs. So my mom owned the building, but we also owned the restaurant. Well, what did we do? We didn't know any better. We made one LLC. We had the restaurant and the apartments all together in one LLC. Not a good idea from an asset protection standpoint, because if something happens at the business, somebody gets hurt, slips and falls, sues you, you are putting the apartments at risk, and vice versa. If somebody slips and falls in the parking lot, they can sue the business and the whole building. When I start talking about entity protection and really protecting yourself, I'm not an attorney. I'm not here to give you asset protection, legal advice. If you want, I can connect you with our attorneys. They do some phenomenal work. Just email me, Gino at jakeandgino.com, and I'll put you together with our attorneys. They're incredible. And what it is, when you talk to an attorney or you are watching a video like this, the answer, when somebody asks you, what should I do? The real answer should be, it depends. Because everyone has other things or specific things or unique things going on in their life. If that property that I was talking about had very little equity, it probably wouldn't make sense to separate out both entities. But that property did have a lot of equity and there was different ownership structures as well. So these are things that you really need to sit down and talk with an attorney. And maybe sometimes it may be beneficial just to keep it in your personal name because it may cost less to actually file. But it's important to get legal advice. And please, don't run to Claude or to AI and to ask. That's a great starting point. You can put it in and ask AI and have it give you an answer. But then take that answer, spend an hour or two with an attorney, ask him the relevant questions. And if you like what you hear, great. If not, use the attorney and go set up that entity. Now we're talking about protecting the baby money soldiers, right? You have this equity, you have this ownership, you're protecting them, right? You're creating what we call a moat around your baby money soldier army. Here's your castle and there's your moat. That's the first line of defense. You're talking about asset protection, entity protection. Now the next one, let's jump into insurance. Insurance is often underlooked and often misunderstood. I've been in business for over 20 years, and I learned something about insurance almost on a monthly basis. Every time my insurance policies are up for renewal, I go out and bid them, and I learn about wind mitigation. I learn about hurricane deductions. I learn about uninsured motorists. It's just incredible the things that you can learn. What I would tell you to do is, if you have a deck page, I would actually load that up onto AI and let AI run it down to you. Let it break down all of the different coverages. It's important that you do that. Now, I didn't have that tool years ago, but that's what I am doing right now. And what you need to do is, when you shop for insurance, there's one thing that I want you to do. I want you to listen to this, because this is important. It's to it's to insure, not for the consequential, but for the catastrophic. Let me say that again, and I want you to write it down because it's important. You are going to insure for the catastrophic, not for the consequential. Now, what that means is you're insuring yourself from a really big loss. Those little losses, it's okay. It's okay if you lose a few baby money soldiers. What you're trying to do is you're trying to protect your army. If you have to sacrifice a few, it's all right. I can give you a perfect example. About a month ago, I was on a call, and this insurance broker simply said to me, "What are your deductibles on your cars?" At the time, I had a $500 deductible. He said, "Are you more likely going to have a claim if you have a car accident?" I said, "Probably not." He says, "Why don't you try bumping up those deductibles to about $1,500? I'm like, "Oh, let me try." And when I did, and I saw the reduction in premium, I mean, my savings will come back to me in probably less than 3 years. What ended up happening is the deductible went up. So what happens is, with a deductible, the first X amount of that deductible, let's say your deductible is $1,500, the first $1,500 of damage, it's consequential. It's not a lot, is protected. But if you have a total loss in the car and your car is worth $40,000, your catastrophic loss of $38,000, $38,500 is saved. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to do that. You're trying to protect for that catastrophic. So your premiums are going to be less, but if something major happens, you're not having to come out of pocket. And let's be honest, if you get into a car accident and it costs you $1,500 for that accident, and even if you have a $500 deductible, more than likely, it's probably better to not go to your insurance company and say to them, "Oh, by the way, I've got an accident, I want to claim." If you do that, your insurance is going to go up. And it's probably not worth actually claiming that insurance. So always think about insuring for the catastrophic, not the consequential. The next part with insurance is really important. Remember, you have your baby money soldier army. You're the general. Well, what happens if the general passes away? Is the army insured? That army is going to stop making money. You really need to look into term life insurance and possibly whole life. If you're younger and you can't afford to put more money into a whole life policy, I would get a term policy that is convertible in the future to whole. Because as you get older, whole life is another different strategy where you can start using the cash value to actually invest in other properties. And you're also using it as an estate planning tool. But when you're younger, what you're trying to do, remember the catastrophic, the consequential, this is catastrophic. If you pass away and you are the breadwinner, or you are, creating a substantial amount of money for your family, what happens? You have a total loss. But with insurance will kick in, and insurance will print you 1 million, 2 million, whatever millions of dollars of baby money soldiers. Now, there's two other caveats. There's two other components of insurance that I'd love for you to look at. There's one that's called the buy-sell agreement. Now, a buy-sell agreement is when you have a business. I was in business with my brother. We owned a restaurant years and years ago. We got a buy-sell agreement. If something happened to one of us passed away, the other one would collect the life insurance, and the other one who was alive would retain ownership of the entire business. Now, that's great, because if something happened to my brother, I did not want to be in business with his wife, and vice versa. I'm sure that if I left the planet, my brother would not want to be in business with my wife. The only thing that I did wrong was I got a term policy of a buy-sell agreement. So I was paying premiums every year. When we closed the restaurant down, we just stopped paying the premiums. No cash value had accumulated. So I wish I had done a whole life policy. Now, the last part of the insurance I want to talk about with life insurance is key man. Now, if you are the general of your army and you have a couple of colonels in the army and they're really high ranking, and if something happens to that colonel, a big segment of your army is in jeopardy, you can get key man insurance on that colonel. If that colonel passes away, all of a sudden the key man insurance will come along and will give you money to be able to replace that. Because in some instances, let's say you have a salesperson working for you or somebody who generates a ton of revenue, or even a COO or the CEO or whomever on your team. If you lose that person, it's going to take you a ton of time and a ton of money. Keyman Insurance is there to come in and step in and say, hey, if something happens to that person and he passes away or she passes away, we're going to kick it in. Now, let's talk about a couple of other insurances before we take a quick time out. Umbrella. You should get an umbrella policy. This is something that's going to cover everything over your army. If something happens, you have liability protection with the umbrella policy. We have renters and homeowners. Obviously, once again, what I want you to do, listen closely. I want you to print out your deck pages, see where your deductibles are. And if your deductibles are low, get a quote for higher deductibles and see what happens with the premiums. If the premiums drop enough to justify the higher deductibles, then I want you to do that. Renters, homeowners, and disability. Now, those are all important. You have that asset protection. You're protecting your assets with liability with these entities, with LLCs. And then the second layer is all about the insurance, protecting yourself from the catastrophic. Let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsors, and we're going to get into estate planning real quick. I want to take a moment to tell you about Wheel Barrow Profits. Here's why I think it's worth your attention. Vince Gethings started with a zero-down VA loan back in 2013. He lived in a house, he renovated it, he netted $130,000. Then he went all in. He purchased 20 units from Hawaii. He scaled it to over 800 units, launched 6 businesses, and built the entire portfolio with a mile-deep focus on Dallas-Fort Worth. He is not someone selling a dream from the sidelines. He is an operator who is in still the seat every day. And the program he leads, Wheel Barrow Profits, has helped students close over $5 billion in multifamily deals across more than 90,000 units. If you've been thinking about how to go from consuming content to actually building a portfolio, go to wheelbarrowprofits.com and take a look at what they've put together. Remember, what was the number that I said? How many percent was the percent of people that didn't have an estate plan? I want to make sure you're paying attention. Yeah, 70%. Now, every single person on this planet should have an estate plan. They should have the ability that if something happens to them, there's something written down for their heirs to let them know what their wishes were. How are they going to pay for the funeral? How are they going to be buried? What happens to whatever assets they have, whatever little savings, whatever little pension, whatever they have? You don't just want that to go by the wayside and end up in New York State unclaimed funds. I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to start thinking about an estate plan as part of your legacy. Legacy is not something that you leave behind. Legacy is something that you activate right now. That's what you have to think about with your baby money soldier army. They're going to work right now. They're working really hard. You're protecting them. But at the same time, what happens when you're no longer the general and your children inherit that? You want to make sure that you have well laid out plans. Proper planning prevents poor performance. That's the reality. And that's what an estate plan does. It's planning for that next generation. Now, parts of an estate plan, what you should have at the very least a last will and testament. You want to have something written down for what happens with your assets. The second thing that you should have is if you have children, make sure that there's a guardian for your children. If something happens to you and your spouse, who takes care of the kids? That's so important. The next one, power of attorney, healthcare proxy, living will. Once again, if you need help with this, just email me, gino@jakeandgino.com, or down below, put in the comments section, estate plan, and I'll put you in touch with our estate attorney. They do a phenomenal job. The pricing is, to me, is just very reasonable. And the amount of work that they do, they cater it to what you need. Now, the last thing I'll say about estate planning is you need something called a revocable trust. You need a revocable trust where you can put all of your baby money soldiers into this revocable trust. It's not asset protection. What happens is they all contain within this revocable trust If you pass away, then they are in there and they go on to the next generation. If they are outside of a revocable trust, then your army is subject to probate. You want to avoid probate at all costs because it can be costly. It could take up to 18 months in places like New York and California, and it is very public. You don't want anyone to know who is in your army or how much of an army you have. Make sure you talk about revocable trust. Actually, go to AI right now when you're done and just type in revocable trust. See what pops up. It's such an important tool in estate planning. It's not asset protection, it's estate planning. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise. I want you right now to start understanding what size of a baby money soldier army you have. I'm going to give you our personal financial statement document where I want you to start filling it out. You've heard the email a couple times. It's gino@jakeandgino.com. Exercise number 1, fill out that personal financial statement. Get it from me, fill it out. Number 2, I want you to look at the deductibles, and I want you to make sure that your deductibles are high enough where you're covered, but not too low where the policies are expensive. And it's so important that you start looking at your baby money soldiers as your money, as you're working really hard for your baby money soldiers. You want them to work hard for you. That's the goal. That's how you become financially independent, by working hard, but by having them work hard for you. Now, the financially intelligent also understand that as they're working hard, they need to have some type of protection. And asset protection and estate planning is top on the list for those who are financially independent. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me here. It's such an important topic. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. You've heard my email a few times. I love leaving it out there. It's an important topic. It's one where we're creating wealth, but when you're creating wealth, we need to protect it and perpetuate it. Thanks again. This is Gino Barbaro of Barbaro 360 and Jake and Gino, and I'll see you on next week's episode.